How are we all? Well, today we are having a little trundle around Kinver, and we're hopefully going to go and see some of the lesser known parts of Kinver. Now, everybody's familiar with the Kinver Rock Houses. They're famous, they're fabulous, and people have lived in them for hundreds of years. But dotted around Kinver there are other caves, or there are other rock houses. There's also some Iron Age stuff, and there's also some Cold War stuff. And interestingly, we have something from the industrial kind of period. Now, there isn't a lot of information about it, and it's one of the lesser seen things on social media. So we're going to go and try and find that today. Now, I can't park anywhere near it. I've got to park maybe about 2 miles away and walking. And I'm going to go through a hedge and then try and find it. But I think you'll like it. I'm hoping it'll be pretty good this time of year as everything starts to die down. So, let's get on the way. Kinver Edge. And what a fantastic place it is in the autumn. And all them colours, all them autumn colours are just beginning to pop now. It's absolutely beautiful. The sun's just nice, especially after the weather we've just had at the weekend. It's glorious, and it's quiet. So Kinver has thousands of years of history, thousands of years. From the Iron Age fort that is above the hill there, behind you, the viewers, and the rock houses that people have lived in for hundreds of years, as I've said, the legends and mythology about the place, the Cold War bunker that is below our very feet as we walk, which is astonishing to think that such a place exists. And if you've never been to Drakelow Tunnels, I wholeheartedly encourage you to go there, because it is a fabulous place and it has quite a unique history. I believe it was one of the World War II shadow factories where they built components for planes and things, or for the war in general, out of the way, and then it became a kind of a command post in the event of a nuclear strike, for the West Midlands area, I believe. Yeah, fantastic place. So I'm not sure whether they're cows or whether they are deer that's in the background there making that noise. But I do wonder, as I wander along here, whether this path has been used for centuries for people trekking to our first stop of the day, and what they were seeking. Were they seeking cures? Were they seeking curses? Who knows? Let's go and have a look. So this is our first stop, and this is Kinver Rock Houses. Well, this is Nanny's Rock, and Nanny's Rock is centred on a lady called Margaret of the Fox Earth, I believe, around the 17th century, and she was known as a kind of herbalist, a healer, and she lived here, and she created many a potion and a herb, and ointments and salves and things using what was available in the local area, much as people have done for sort of way back as far as you can remember. And she lived here, and she lived out her life here. And there's a bit more to the story, but I'll probably do a voiceover when I get to that. But it's a fascinating place because all around the walls are the marks of people who have visited, and some of the marks are good and some of the marks are bad. And there is a bit of litter and a fire pit. Smelling, he's probably here from the weekend just gone. But there are faces. You can see the outline of a face there. It's always fascinating. It's one of the most graffitied places I think I've visited. And there are dates. Some of them are a bit dubious about their dating, that they've just written on them. Sometimes you can tell how old something is by the font that it's kind of carved in. So some of the really old stuff tends to be carved in quite particular font, which is an easy way of seeing. It's a fabulous looking place, and from here you've obviously got a view of this path that is right out along here. People coming up will just come up and come and see Margaret and buy what they needed to buy. But from here you've got a fantastic view all the way up the sort of the big hills in the back there. And apart from the plains, it's really peaceful. So up here in the distance, so you can't, I'm not sure whether you can see it, but that is the remain of Kinver Camp, I believe, which is one of two hill forts up on this ridge, and it's a very smaller example than the main one. And I always believe that these smaller ones are more kind of outlook posts, stop off posts, rather than actual camps or forts. I think maybe like defensive enclosure would be a better idea to name them. But yeah, so 1,000, 2,000 years ago, people would have been here, perhaps as lookouts. You get a good view of all out there. So yeah, of course it's private land today. Anyway. this is a very interesting little space. And I'm not quite sure what it is. Now at first glances I thought it was a lift shaft. Oh. So yeah, it's a little bit toasty now. So this is one of these rather strange little features that are kind of dotted around this side of the hillside now. Pretty sure this lines up with the main bunker entrance, which is down there. This looks like it's been filled in because there is a wood form and there is plastic and then there is concrete. That to me suggests that this has been filled in. So was this a lift entrance? Now it's way out from the main road, which is down there, and you're not coming up here without being noticed unless you're kind of coming in from the top there, which I'm assuming there would have been some kind of watch bunker up there anyway. It's all fenced off, it's double fenced off, and down there is another building. So we're going to go and try and have a look in that as well. But this is what I'm saying, that hidden throughout Kinver there are lots of these unique little places just dotted around here. And I don't quite know what it is, because I don't think I've ever really found a satisfactory answer as to what this was. So I'm going to take some pictures of it, and I'm going to see if I can try and find some more answers. But you can clearly see that it's been formed up above. The cement is like beams of wood, so it's obviously been formed as it is, I would imagine, rather than being dropped in and built. It's been formed. So it's an interesting little structure. I just wonder whether it is a lift shaft. But yeah, bear with me. I mean, it's potentially some kind of pumping power station. We have, I don't know, what appears to be maybe some kind of sluice, which goes off to them buildings there. And I know that it looks like they've recently put brand new fencing all the way around the bottom there, so. And there is no way to access it from the top, unfortunately. Oh. But as you can see, it's quite a substantial building. Well, let's see if we can kind of have a pop in. Alright, so we've got some large steel doors. Okay. So this would have been a, don't really know, pumping ladder. Because it comes down from there. Like maybe it ran pipes, so maybe it was the generator. As you can see, it's been carved out of all of this rock here. And then we go around and you have these rooms. And there's just lots of rooms. It's rather peculiar. I'm thinking it's a generator, some kind of power plant system for the bunker below us. Because all of these have thick concrete bases. They're all exactly the same size. Really? Whoa. Now that is a freaky shadow. To see on here, that is a freaky shadow. And then this would have been the kind of main entrance though, as you can see. That's the outside world. Still a large thick steel door. But yeah, fascinating place. I think this is a generator room. That's what it looks like. We have a base in the middle here for something, and then we have these two channels which run down either side, and lots of power cables, so I'm assuming it was a kind of generator. What a fantastic space. This fence line here is, I believe, the main entrance to the bunker complex, which is now used. I think it was being used by a construction company, but I'm not entirely sure. It could be being used by the company that deals in the wines and the spirits, as I said earlier. But yeah, it's a substantial kind of bit of complex here. This is an extremely large entrance where I'd imagine that they would be bringing in and out goods and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I think this is the company's. As you can see, there is some vans and stuff outside here. Yeah, so that's the main entrance to the bunker complex. Up that road there. And of course none of these houses would have been here at the point that it was being built. And the only thing that lets you know that there's anything there is the security fencing and obviously the trucks going in and out. Maybe they're preparing for the Third Cold War. But coming up on the right here is one of the entrances to Drakelaw. So I don't know whether this is one of four. So as you can see, this is Drakelaw Museum. This is where you come for your museum tours. And down there's a rather large set of steel double doors that you can't get in. And again, there's the original kind of pillar posts and fencing. But yeah, again, all under here. It's all a bunker. All a bunker. So yet another entrance. This is the third one now that I've come across. So all the way down there is another entrance, and all the way to that side is the one where we've just come from. So as I said, this is the third entrance so far to Drakelaw. Oh, house for sale. 4-bedroom. 4-bedroom house, if anybody wants a 4-bedroom house. And Kinver, if you have the money. And you can see it's absolutely substantial, isn't it? Because all of this fencing, this fencing just keeps going. So I'll take you to the next entrance where I know that there is another entrance. Yeah, here is another entrance to this bunker complex. There is a small trackway that goes down there somewhere. So yet again there is another entrance. That is 4 entrances so far to Drakelaw. And as I said, the Drakelaw Museum has a tiny portion of it. The distillery place, or whatever you want to call it, has a larger proportion of it, but I think there is so much more of it left and kind of untouched. So I know from reading other things that there are places where there are walls that have not been knocked down, so potentially just bricked up since World War II, maybe bricked up since the end of the Cold War use. Who knows? Kinver, such a fascinating place with all this history, and it's, as I said, it's rare to come across a place with so much kind of human interference. You know, Breedon Hill, one of my most favourite places, Breedon Hill, because there is so much going on that place. So many tales, ghosts, witches, and it's not that different here. But yeah, Where are we going to go now then? Oh, well, if I wander back here, I do know there is some more rock houses. I kid you not. There is some more rock houses. I just can't quite remember where they are. I know they're on a kind of common where there isn't trees. But for some reason I can't think where it is. It's been that long since I've been there. But if we find them, we'll find them. Yeah, I completely forgot these were here, these extra houses. So I'm not going to kind of give proper directions to them. These are fairly unmolested. There is litter, but not a lot. I suppose it's one of them places. See, as you can see, these alcoves, I'm imagining either storage. I think storage because there's no chimneys. So 2-room dwellings. I think there's 4 of them. All very regular, all straight cut by hand, which is amazing. An absolute fabulous place. Oh wow, and there's more around here. I didn't even know all of this was here. Did not know these were here. As you can see, these ones are a bit more kind of put together with actual bricks and mortar. Chimney runs up and out that way.